The sun was shining brightly on a warm Saturday morning as townsfolk gathered at the community auction. The air buzzed with excitement and chatter, with families setting up picnic blankets and children laughing and running around. Colorful banners hung above the makeshift stage, beckoning people to come closer. Various items were displayed on tables: old furniture, tools, and unique handmade crafts. But the highlight of the day was the peculiar item that drew everyone's attention: a scruffy little pony. Everyone knew this auction was about more than just goods. It was about stories, about finding value in what others deemed useless. The small pony stood in its pen, looking both nervous and curious. Its coat was patchy, with dull patches of brown and white. Its mane was tangled, and it didn't seem to possess the charm that most people expected in a pony. Many of the adults whispered, barely concealing their laughter as they noticed the pony's inadequate size and scruffy appearance. "What a waste of time," one man scoffed. "That thing isn't worth a dime." But in the crowd was a young boy named Jake, whose sparkling blue eyes were fixed on the pony with fascination. Jake had saved up all his allowance for weeks, dreaming of a pony he could call his own. He imagined riding through nearby fields and going on adventures. To him, this little creature was not worthless. It was a treasure waiting to be discovered. Jake tugged on his mother's sleeve, pointing excitedly at the pony while heart racing with hope. As the auctioneer took center stage, the crowd hushed to hear him announce the upcoming sale of the pony. "Next up is this fine little—" He hesitated, as if searching for the words to describe it. "This charming pony. You'll be hard-pressed to find such a unique addition to your family." There was chuckling among the audience, and Jake felt his heart drop slightly at how everyone dismissed what he saw as special. "No one will want it," Jake whispered to himself, recalling all the jokes he overheard when he first laid eyes on the animal. But he wouldn't let that deter him. He took a deep breath and clutched the crumpled bills in his pocket, feeling determination surge within him. The bidding started low, as expected, with just a few hesitant raises from others who had little interest in the pony. $5, shouted a voice from among the crowd. Horrified laughter erupted as other bidders bowed out, thinking surely no one would pay that much for such an unappealing creature. Jake's hand shot up immediately when he heard the auctioneer call for more bids. His heart raced with excitement as he called out, "I bid $5." Though some people shook their heads in disbelief, Jake felt a swell of hope. His friends had made fun of him for wanting a pony at all, but he couldn't let go of this chance. As silence settled over the crowd, the auctioneer looked around, unsure if anyone would dare challenge this price. After a long moment, he raised his gavel and banged it down with authority. "Sold, to the determined young lad in the front." The crowd erupted into applause, mixed with laughter. But Jake ignored them, running forward to claim his new friend. He beamed with pride as he approached the pen where the pony stood. "I'll take good care of you," Jake promised, gently stroking its mane. The pony looked back at him with big, soulful eyes that seemed to understand his words. In that moment, Jake decided it didn't matter what others thought. He believed in this pony. Jake led the pony out of the pen with careful steps, feeling heavy anticipation wash over him. He couldn't wait to bring it home and prove everyone wrong about its worth. Despite the teasing jabs and giggles from townsfolk still echoing around him, he felt like he had made his first big win. As he walked toward home on that sunny day, Jake slowly began dreaming about all the adventures ahead. Little did he know just how much this so-called useless pony would change everything. The road ahead was untraveled territory, filled with challenges and surprises. But Jake was ready to embrace it all. At that moment, With the weight of $5 in his hand and hope in his heart, he felt unstoppable. As the auctioneer signaled that the pony was next on the list, Jake's heart raced with anticipation. He could feel the energy of the crowd swirling around him like a whirlwind. But all he could focus on was that little pony standing at the front. Jake's gaze was locked on its hesitant eyes, and he felt an unbreakable connection, as if they were meant to be together. He had been saving his allowance for weeks. Every small chore he completed, mowing the neighbor's lawn, helping his mom with groceries, and even washing cars, brought him closer to his dream. Each time he received a quarter or a dollar, he tucked it away in his trusty piggy bank. Now, with all of his savings gathered together, he had only $5, but it felt like a fortune to him. "Please let this work," he whispered under his breath as he glanced around at the faces of adults who still giggled and whispered about the pony's unkempt appearance. It didn't matter to Jake. All that mattered was seizing this opportunity. With every low bid that came from other members of the crowd, Jake's excitement grew. He couldn't understand why no one else saw what he saw, a chance for friendship and adventure. As the auctioneer started calling out bids for the pony, Jake raised his hand nervously but confidently when the bidding began at just $1. $1! Someone shouted from deep within the crowd. The auctioneer nodded but quickly continued to encourage higher offers. The bidding climbed slowly to $5 as Jake remained focused and determined. Around him, the crowd erupted in laughter when someone jokingly suggested they should pay someone to take it away instead. Still, Jake kept his eyes on the auctioneer, the man holding his dream in his hands. $5, shouted an older gentleman who stood nearby, shaking his head in disbelief at what they were considering worth buying. The laughter continued to mingle with murmurs of disbelief, as people thought surely no one would actually want this pony. Jake grasped tightly onto his crumpled $5 bill, feeling its weight as if it were a golden ticket. He took a deep breath and shouted out louder than before, "I bid $5. In that moment of courage, all noise around him faded into silence. Heads turned in surprise toward him, the little boy daring enough to challenge grown-ups who thought a scruffy pony wasn't worth anything. The auctioneer turned to look at Jake and raised an eyebrow, clearly impressed by this young boy's willingness to speak up amidst laughter. "Do I hear any more bids?" he called out, scanning the crowd for anyone brave enough to challenge young Jake's offer. Silence fell again as people exchanged glances. Some looked sympathetic while others remained doubtful about whether anyone would really buy that pony at all. After a long pause, filled with tension and anticipation, the auctioneer looked back down at Jake with curiosity dancing in his eyes. "Sold, to the young man in front," he said with a bang of his gavel. A mix of applause and laughter erupted throughout the audience once more. But this time, it felt different. It felt alive with enthusiasm rather than mockery. With adrenaline pumping through his veins, Jake raced forward as cheers echoed around him. "I can't believe I actually won," he thought excitedly as he approached the pen where his new companion awaited him. Ignoring any teasing remarks surrounding him, Jake felt proud. He had believed in something many others dismissed without thought. When he reached the pen's gate, there stood the pony looking shy, yet curious, just like Jake felt inside. Kneeling down to meet its gaze more closely, Jake whispered softly, so only it could hear, "You're going to be my best friend." They locked eyes for a moment that felt like eternity. Finally, he had taken charge of his dreams. He could hardly contain himself as emotion surged through him. Relief washed over him. Joy bubbled up inside him like fireworks bursting into brilliant colors in the night sky. Because even though everyone else saw just a scruffy little pony unfit for love or friendship, Jake saw beyond appearances. He saw potential waiting to be discovered. As he led the pony out of its enclosure with careful steps filled with gentleness and tenderness rather than haste or excitement alone. Joy filled every corner of his heart while making promises in whispers about wonderful adventures ahead together. Today marked not just a simple purchase. It represented hope against doubt and belief against ridicule, an awakening for both boy and pony alike. With each step they took towards home, under that bright sun-filled sky alongside joyful townsfolk still buzzing from what had just unfolded before them. The day brimmed with endless possibilities waiting just beyond horizon lines, yet unseen by most eyes present today. For now, though, a new adventure stood waiting on their doorstep ready for them. Jake could hardly contain his excitement as he led the pony down the dirt road toward home. The little creature trotted beside him, its hooves making a soft thudding sound on the ground, and each step felt like the beginning of a grand adventure. With an overwhelming rush of happiness swirling in his chest, he imagined the wonderful moments they would share together, a world without the doubts of others. Yet, as they approached his neighborhood, he spotted some of his friends playing ball in a nearby yard. Jake's heart leapt into his throat, and he felt a little flutter of uncertainty. He couldn't help but wonder what they would say about his new companion. Would they laugh? Would they tease him for spending his money on a pony others deemed worthless? "Hey, Jake," one of them called out, tossing the ball to another friend. "What's that you got there? A dog?" Laughter followed as they squinted against the sun to get a better look. "No, it's a pony," Jake shouted back, trying to maintain confidence despite the sinking feeling in his stomach. As he got closer, the laughter grew louder, and it felt like a storm crashing down around him. "A pony? Seriously? That thing looks like it needs a bath more than anything." Another friend chimed in, and Jake felt heat rise to his cheeks. He could feel their eyes on him like piercing beams of doubt. But deep down, Jake felt an undeniable connection to the pony that nobody else could see. "This pony is going to be my best friend," he thought fiercely, remembering every chore he did to earn that $5, and every moment he dreamed about having a pony of his own. "Just wait until they see what we can do together." He took a deep breath and gently stroked the pony's mane as they continued walking. "You're special," he whispered to it. "They just don't know yet." The pony seemed to relax under his touch, and Jake realized that his determination was stronger than any negative words thrown at him. When they arrived home, Jake's mom was waiting at the front door with her arms crossed and a curious look on her face. "Jake, what have you done?" she asked, clearly shocked. She took in the sight of the scruffy little pony with its tangled mane. "You spent your entire allowance on this?" "Yes, Mom, this is my new pony," Jake exclaimed proudly, feeling an immense sense of joy bubble up inside him once more. His mother knelt down to get a closer look and sighed. "But it doesn't look like much," she said softly, concern etched across her face. "Are you sure this was a good idea?" "I believe in it," Jake insisted, standing tall with a fierce determination. "I can take care of it, and it's going to be amazing. Just give it a chance." His mother's gaze softened slightly as she took in his earnest expression. She recognized that spark of passion in her son's eyes, the same spark she had seen when he first learned to ride a bike or when he had made his mind up to take swimming lessons. "All right," she finally said with a hint of resignation, "but we'll need to give it a proper bath and ensure it gets some food." Jake beamed with gratitude at her support and immediately grabbed the lead rope, pulling the pony toward the backyard where there was plenty of space for them to bond and play together. The laughter from his friends still echoed nearby. But as he worked alongside his mom to make the pony feel comfortable, his heart swelled with pride. Over the next few hours, they washed the pony and brushed its coat until it shone with vibrancy, hidden beneath the layers of dirt. With each stroke of the brush, Jake felt more connected, almost as if they were both shedding their old selves, him from being just that boy who bid on a useless pony, and the pony from being just another neglected animal at an auction. "See?" Jake said to his mom as she watched them play. "Look how pretty she is now. I think I'll name her Daisy." The name felt right. Something about it captured both sweetness and strength. His mom smiled at Jake's enthusiasm, realizing how much this meant to him. Still, she remained cautious, but supportive. "All right then, Daisy it is. But remember that caring for her will take time and effort." "I will, I promise," Jake declared earnestly. Later that evening, after dinner, Jake found himself outside in the yard with Daisy, under the glow of sunset colors painting the sky. He had looked forward to these moments where he could simply be with her without distractions or doubt clouding his thoughts. He recalled everything he hoped for, riding through fields and having fun adventures, and knowing he was taking the first steps toward those dreams made him happier than ever. While some might still question his choice to invest in such an overlooked creature, all that mattered now was that Jake believed in Daisy and himself. As they stood together, watching fireflies dance around them under the twilight sky, Jake decided that no matter what anyone else thought, he would prove them all wrong and show everyone just how special Daisy truly was. Together, they were ready to embark on a journey filled with friendship and endless possibilities. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the backyard, Jake felt a surge of enthusiasm. He had Daisy, his very own pony, and he was determined to take good care of her. However, he quickly discovered that caring for a pony was not as easy as he had imagined. The first challenge came during feeding time. Jake had learned from books that ponies needed hay, grains, and fresh water, but he had never done it himself. As he approached the barn with a big bag of hay under one arm and his heart full of excitement, he stumbled upon the next hurdle: how to get Daisy to eat it. She stood there looking at him with big, curious eyes, but she seemed uninterested in the food he offered. "Come on, Daisy, this is yummy," Jake encouraged while placing some hay down on the ground. He waved his hands like a magician trying to conjure a trick. But Daisy just blinked slowly and turned her head away. "Maybe you're just not hungry yet," Jake muttered to himself, feeling a little deflated. Determined not to give up, Jake tried different approaches to entice her. A little bit of grain here, some carrots there. Still nothing worked. It took several tries before Daisy finally nibbled at the hay. Jake felt a rush of victory wash over him, as if he had just completed a grand quest. This little win felt monumental, reminding him that sometimes patience was key. Next came grooming time. After feeding Daisy and ensuring she had fresh water, a task that turned out to be another adventure in itself, Jake grabbed a brush for her coat and headed back outside. He knew that grooming was essential for keeping her healthy and comfortable, but quickly found out how much she liked to squirm. As Jake attempted to brush her coat gently, Daisy seemed more interested in wandering around than standing still. She would shift her weight from one foot to the other, making it increasingly challenging for him to get to the spots that needed attention most. "Stay still," he laughed, trying to keep his balance as she moved away from him again and again. Frustration bubbled up inside him as he huffed and puffed while chasing after her like an eager puppy after its tail. Each time she skittered away or nudged him playfully with her nose seemed like an invitation for more fun rather than work. But Jake reminded himself, every friendship requires effort and understanding. After what felt like an eternity of giggles and gentle nudges back and forth between them, Jake finally managed to brush Daisy enough for her coat to shine bright once again under the soft evening light. The struggles made him see Daisy's playful personality more clearly. She wasn't just some useless pony. She was spirited and full of life. Training was another daunting task ahead of them. Encouraging Daisy to respond to basic commands would require patience and practice. Armed with treats and an unbreakable spirit, Jake set out in the backyard one afternoon, ready for their training session together. "Okay, Daisy, let's learn how to walk. You can do this," he said enthusiastically as they began practicing leading around in circles. Dodging around trees while keeping pace wasn't easy for either of them. Sometimes they stumbled over each other's feet, or hooves in Daisy's case. Jake grew increasingly frustrated when Daisy didn't seem to understand what he wanted her to do right away. He remembered reading about how it took time for ponies to learn new skills, but seeing no immediate results tested his patience. "Maybe we can try again tomorrow." Jake sighed after yet another round of failed attempts ended in laughter rather than progress. Yet even through these challenges, something magical started blossoming between them. Every laugh shared reinforced their bond a little deeper. With every stumble or misstep they had together came moments where they both learned something new. Not only about training, but about supporting each other too. One day, while taking breaks amidst trials outdoors, filled with fun laughter or soft neighs from Daisy standing beside him, moments caught in warmth on sunny afternoons revealed joys hidden beneath layers of effort. It became clearer just how rewarding their journey together truly was. Despite these initial hurdles in their relationship, learning feeding routines properly or mastering commands during training, they were becoming partners united by friendship forged through challenges faced hand in hoof. Jake knew they still had miles ahead, filled with mountains of lessons waiting. But somehow, every moment spent alongside Daisy felt like stepping into uncharted territory, filled with possibilities beyond anything he could have dreamed before they met on that fateful auction day. As the weeks passed, Jake spent countless afternoons with Daisy, working to build their bond and teach her commands, while also discovering her hidden talents. Each day was a little adventure filled with laughter, determination, and moments of trial and error. Jake began to realize that Daisy was not just a scruffy pony. She was a spirited creature brimming with personality and potential. One sunny afternoon, as Jake sat in the yard with Daisy, he decided to try something new. Jake had seen videos about ponies doing tricks, and a spark of inspiration ignited within him. "What if you could learn some tricks?" he said excitedly, looking into Daisy's curious eyes. "Let's see what you can do." He grabbed a few treats and set them on the nearby picnic table as a reward. "Okay, Daisy, sit," he commanded enthusiastically, hoping for the best. At first, she merely tilted her head to one side, clearly confused by the command. Jake chuckled softly. He knew this was going to require some creativity. After trying several times and using hand signals along with words, suddenly something magical happened. As Jake showed her how to move toward the table where the treats were tantalizingly placed, Daisy took a step forward and gently nudged it with her nose. "Good girl," Jake exclaimed with delight. Encouraged by this small victory, he continued by teaching her how to follow him around in circles while weaving his way through trees and obstacles in the yard. Each day brought new practices. She seemed eager to learn, but still needed guidance. As they practiced leading in circles together under soft evening light, Daisy slowly began responding more consistently. One afternoon, while restlessly waiting for their training session to begin in the backyard sunshine, Jake decided it was time for something fun, a small obstacle course made from hay bales. Setting up the challenge excited him beyond measure. He envisioned Daisy gracefully maneuvering through his homemade course like a champion. With bated breath, Jake led Daisy back to their special area where he carefully arranged hay bales into little jumps and tight turns for her to navigate. "Okay, sweetheart," he said cheerfully as he patted her neck. "This is going to be amazing." Eagerly gesturing for her to attempt crossing over one of the low hay bales, Jake felt butterflies fluttering in his stomach as insecurity surfaced briefly. Would she have the confidence? Would she even understand? But then came her first leap. Daisy hopped over that hay bale effortlessly. Jake's heart soared as they moved through each part of the course together like partners in a dance. The joy radiating between them felt contagious. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Let's try that again," he called out gleefully after they completed all parts of their mini-course with surprisingly swift success. Daisy seemed just as thrilled as Jake. They were developing a rhythm together that mirrored true friendship, each win fueling their determination further. Over time, word about Daisy's talents spread throughout the neighborhood as local kids strayed closer during practice sessions to peek at this surprising duo out doing what they loved most: playing together. One day, while practicing in front of an audience, enjoying snacks on porches nearby, Jake boldly called out for everyone to see, "Daisy, jump!" with fresh enthusiasm coursing through him yet again on this particular day. Daisy bounded over hay bales straight into applause from delighted spectators watching. A mix of surprise and amusement danced across friendly faces as cheers erupted among friends who once mocked him for choosing this useless pony. Seeing how well Daisy performed left no doubt in anyone's mind. There was true talent hidden beneath appearances. And it wasn't limited just to being kind-hearted or smart, but also spectacularly gifted too. Soon enough, they were rehearsing more impressive tricks. Daisy learned how to spin in circle when commanded, and even playfully bow at the end of each session. With every new trick revealed came blossoming admiration from those who gathered around daily after school. They began cheering on these newfound skills, now waiting eagerly for references they initially doubted could bear fruit. Jake's confidence deepened alongside his pony's abilities, as if both had somehow changed. Predictable becoming spontaneous, ordinary turning extraordinary, amid laughter shared since day one, filled with stories forged beneath stars above, during starry nights spent dreaming endless possibilities together. From what people once viewed skeptically transformed beautifully before them. Like petals unfurling into bright blooms, full of colors, shining brightly amid daily practices, creating bonds stronger than any doubts ever spoken aloud before about this spectacular relationship. Waiting patiently between boy and pony rediscovered time after time. Now every trick mastered served not solely as entertainment, but more so reminders imbued deeply within memories, crafted alongside fun laughter, echoing far beyond just simple goals achieved. It affirmed Jake believed fiercely enough, once again showing all how believing made impossible possible, unravel beneath well-worn paths. Both trod hand in hoof onward into enchanting futures, yet unseen waiting patiently ahead. As Jake and Daisy continued to impress everyone with their training sessions, word spread quickly through the neighborhood. Kids who had once laughed at Jake's choice began to gather around daily, eager to see what new tricks Daisy might perform. The local children started asking questions about how Jake had taught her to jump, spin, and bow. Each time Daisy executed a trick, cheers erupted from the crowd, and Jake could feel his heart swell with pride. One sunny Saturday morning, the town organized a small fair complete with games and activities. Jake saw this as the perfect opportunity to showcase Daisy's talents. With a spring in his step, he decided to sign up for a pony demonstration at the fair, hoping this would help change everyone's minds about his beloved companion. On the day of the fair, his friends and family gathered excitedly around the makeshift arena set up for the demonstration. Nervous but determined, Jake led Daisy into the ring, feeling a mix of anxiety and excitement. As he stroked her neck reassuringly, he whispered, "We can do this together." The audience quieted down as Jake began to command Daisy through an array of tricks. He started with simple commands. She spun in circles, jumped over low hay bales, and even bowed at the end of each routine. Each successful trick was met with applause that echoed through the fairground. The laughter and teasing that once surrounded them transformed into admiration. Among those watching was Jake's mother, who had initially expressed her doubts about Daisy's worth. As she watched her son work alongside his pony, transforming from a scruffy animal into a skilled performer before her eyes, she couldn't help but smile proudly. "Look at them go," she exclaimed to another parent standing next to her. Her heart swelled with happiness as she realized how far they had come together. Jake's friends also stood there in awe now, their previous skepticism fading away like mist under the morning sun. They whispered to one another in disbelief as they saw Daisy gracefully navigate the obstacle course that Jake had built in their backyard just weeks before. "Did you see that?" One friend nudged another. "I never thought she could do all that." As Jake finished his demonstration with one final impressive jump over a stack of hay bales, he looked out at the crowd with wide eyes filled with excitement. The applause was thunderous now as cheers erupted all around him. People began clapping and cheering for not just Daisy, but also for Jake, the boy who believed in his pony when no one else did. After the performance ended, several children rushed over to congratulate Jake. "Your pony is amazing," one girl said excitedly while petting Daisy's mane. "Can we come over and see her again? I want to learn how you taught her those tricks." Jake beamed with joy at their enthusiasm. "Of course, you can help me train her," he replied eagerly. As more neighbors approached him after the performance, some offering compliments while others nodded in respect, Jake realized that something remarkable had shifted in their hearts. The once skeptical townsfolk who had laughed at him now viewed Daisy through different lenses, filled with admiration instead of doubt. "Who knew that pony had so much talent?" someone called from the back of the crowd. "She's definitely not useless," chimed another neighbor with a warm smile toward Jake. Feeling grateful for this newfound recognition and support from his community filled him with joy beyond measure. It confirmed his belief in Daisy and himself. The bond forged between them made them unstoppable together. By the end of that lively day at the fair, many families approached Jake with offers to join training sessions or even participate in future demonstrations together, an idea he found thrilling. His friend's change of heart meant more than just acceptance. It symbolized how believing in one another could turn doubts into dreams, realized right before their eyes. As summer days passed by, filled with laughter during training sessions amidst happy cheers echoing through grassy fields nearby, Jake felt certain that he would continue nurturing this special bond alongside Daisy, growing stronger every moment spent together. One where both boy and pony thrived despite initial uncertainties clouding outside perceptions. It became clear now. What began as an overlooked animal turned into an extraordinary partnership. One where perseverance led not only to admiration, but also blossoming friendships blossomed along pathways they traveled hand in hoof toward endless adventures waiting patiently ahead. As the summer days rolled on, Daisy transformed from a scruffy pony into a celebrated local star. After the performances at the fair, Word of her talents spread like wildfire through the small town. Children who had once giggled and teased Jake now rushed to his backyard, eager to catch a glimpse of Daisy and learn more about her tricks. Every afternoon after school, kids gathered around Jake's yard, their laughter filling the air as they encouraged Daisy to perform. Jake happily shared his training tips with them, explaining how he taught Daisy each trick through patience and love. With treats in hand, the children would take turns attempting to command her. It was a joyful sight to see Daisy playfully responding to their commands with spinning dances and graceful jumps. One day, while a group of kids practiced leading Daisy around obstacles made from cones and hay bales, a little girl named Lily stepped forward. "Can I try teaching her something new?" she asked eagerly. "Of course," Jake replied, excited by the idea. As they all watched Lily try to get Daisy to bow, they cheered her on. The pony nudged Lily gently with her nose, as if encouraging her efforts. The children erupted into giggles when Daisy playfully poked at Lily's pocket, searching for treats. The bond between Daisy and the kids deepened as they created new memories together. It felt like an endless summer filled with adventure and laughter. Daisy became a favorite among local families. Parents would bring their children just to see this remarkable pony that could jump, spin, and bow, all thanks to Jake's belief in her potential. One Saturday morning, the town hosted a Pony Day, complete with pony rides and games centered around various pony-themed activities. Naturally, they invited Jake and Daisy to be the stars of the event. Jake could hardly contain his excitement as he groomed Daisy that morning. He wanted everyone to see how special she truly was. When it was time for the event, people of all ages flocked to watch Daisy perform alongside Jake. The crowd was larger than he ever imagined as cheers filled the air during each demonstration of her skills. Children squealed with delight when Daisy expertly maneuvered through obstacles while keeping pace beside Jake. At one point during the event, an elderly lady approached Jake while holding a camera. "May I take a picture of you two?" she asked with tenderness in her eyes. "I want to remember this moment. Such talent. You've trained her so well." Jake smiled brightly, feeling warmth flood over him at her kind words. He adjusted Daisy's mane with pride before posing with her for the photo. The lady snapped multiple pictures, capturing not just their performance, but also their connection, a reflection of how belief can change everything. The more people observed Daisy's charm and grace, the more she captured their hearts. Families began sharing stories about their own childhood experiences with horses and ponies, while joining in on games inspired by what they had seen at Pony Day. Soon enough, folks around town began discussing hosting regular training sessions where children could come learn more about caring for ponies alongside Jake, and even help train other ponies along with Daisy. Soon after, plans for community events focused on animal care classes emerged. The perfect blend, allowing kids not only just fun, but also meaningful engagement built around teamwork. Local schools embraced this new community initiative too. They collaborated with Jake so that every child in town would have opportunities. Whether through future events or hands-on demonstrations, learning how compassion connected them all together, even amidst something seemingly simple like caring for animals. As weeks turned into months filled with adventures shared between boy and pony, a community formed around their journey rooted strongly in trust, established deep down within hearts captivated by pure joy. The once neglected pony became emblematic of resilience, shining brightly against doubt. One sunny afternoon, as Jake sat under a shady tree, watching everybody interact joyously alongside his beloved pal, you could almost hear whispers bouncing around, complimenting how incredible it felt, knowing anything thought difficult could transform beautifully. Given enough time spent nurturing bonds formed genuinely beyond appearances. Jake realized at that moment. The real treasure wasn't just about proving others wrong. It was witnessing friendships blossom right before his eyes. The laughter ringing out surrounding every adventure served as gentle reminders that believing made possibilities stretch far beyond expectations, awaiting patiently flowing forward into enchanting futures ahead. Daisy had become more than just the $5 pony. She was now cherished deeply as an irreplaceable part of not only Jake's life, but also woven intricately within fabric connecting neighbors together, within lasting memories created hand and hoof. A testament proving how extraordinary relationships flourish, from unassuming beginnings, indeed. With Daisy now a local favorite, Jake and his friends decided to organize special events to showcase her talents even further. Inspired by the joy she brought to their lives and the community, they dreamed of creating a day filled with fun, laughter, and exciting performances. After brainstorming together, they settled on hosting a small carnival that would be both entertaining and a celebration of Daisy's remarkable skills. The planning began in earnest. Jake enlisted the help of his friends. Lily, the eager little girl who had first tried to teach Daisy new tricks. Sam, who was great at organizing events. And Mia, who had a knack for crafting decorations. They all put their heads together to coordinate games, activities, and performances that would highlight what Daisy could do. They chose a Saturday for the carnival and set to work decorating Jake's backyard with colorful banners and streamers. They strung up bright lights and made signs announcing events like Daisy's Talent Show, Pony Rides, and Best Trick Contest. The excitement in the air was palpable as they prepared for what they hoped would be a wonderful day. As word spread throughout the neighborhood about the upcoming carnival, more families began to show interest. Parents encouraged their children to participate in the activities, eager to witness Daisy's newfound fame. On the day of the event, families lined up outside Jake's house with smiles on their faces and anticipation in their hearts. The carnival kicked off early that morning under a bright blue sky. Jake couldn't contain his excitement as he watched everyone gather around Daisy's area where she stood proudly, adorned with colorful ribbons in her mane. He felt like she was not just his pony anymore, but a superstar ready to shine. "Welcome, everyone," Jake announced as he stood in front of a small crowd that had gathered around him and Daisy. "Today is all about fun. We're going to show you how amazing Daisy is." The crowd erupted into cheers and claps as he began outlining the day's schedule. First up was Daisy's Talent Show. The kids took turns showing off tricks they had worked on with her during practice sessions. Each child called out commands while Daisy dazzled them with spins, jumps, and playful bows. Laughter filled the air as little ones giggled at Daisy's antics. It became clear that she not only enjoyed performing, but also loved being around her young friends. After each performance, Jake awarded small prizes, a shiny sticker or a homemade ribbon, to each participant for their effort. This encouraged everyone to feel included, not just those who were showcasing their skills, but also those cheering from the sidelines. It created an atmosphere of encouragement and camaraderie among all present. Following the talent show came pony rides. Parents lined up with excited children ready for a ride on this famous pony who had once been deemed worthless by many. As Jake led Daisy in gentle circles around the yard, he heard delighted squeals from kids who couldn't believe they were atop such an incredible creature. "It's so soft," one little boy exclaimed while stroking Daisy's coat lovingly as she walked slowly along the path set out for rides. As midday approached, they shifted gears into contests like Best Trick Contest, allowing everyone to showcase what they had learned while training with Daisy over recent weeks. Kids eagerly demonstrated everything from jumping over small hay bales to performing silly dance moves alongside her. As each performance concluded, amid laughter surrounding every delightful moment shared together. Jake felt immense pride wash over him once again, realizing how far everyone had come since he first brought this scruffy pony home looking largely neglected. He saw familiar faces smiling back at him. Neighbors who once laughed at his dreams, now visibly enchanted by what lay before them today. Later that afternoon, as games continued thriving alongside cheerful chatter echoing through grassy fields nearby, a sense of community formed stronger than ever, bloomed brightly beneath warm sunshine. In quieter moments when resting against tree trunks, watching children play joyful sounds echoed loudly, reminding everyone how significant friendships blossomed from caring together for something once overlooked, turning into cherished memories made hand and hoof. By evening fall, after games concluded, with laughter still dancing through twilight air, the carnival wrapped up beautifully, leaving behind footprints marking happiness etched deeply within hearts around town, forever altered, due not solely toward celebrating skills displayed, rather celebrating bonds nurtured alongside adventure, undertaken together, overcoming doubts faced time after time before. In capturing moments shared between boy and pony, transformed beyond expectations, embraced wholeheartedly by community. It reminded all gathered there. Belief changes everything, even transforming once doubted creatures into stars, shining brightly, paving ways forward toward enchanting futures filled with endless possibilities, waiting patiently just beyond horizon lines seen ahead. As the summer days began to fade, Jake reflected on the incredible journey he had experienced with Daisy. What started as a simple decision to bid $5 for a pony deemed useless had blossomed into an adventure full of unexpected friendships, joyful performances, and valuable life lessons. The transformation of both himself and Daisy was nothing short of remarkable. One afternoon, while resting under the shade of a tree after another successful training session, Jake thought about all the lessons he had learned throughout this journey. He realized that the most important lesson was about believing in oneself. When he first brought Daisy home, he faced doubt from everyone around him, friends, family, and even strangers at the auction. Yet, Jake's unwavering faith in her potential allowed him to overcome those doubts. He learned that believing in oneself is crucial. It empowers individuals to take risks and pursue their dreams despite what others may think. Jake also recognized the importance of valuing what others consider worthless. At the auction, many people dismissed Daisy based on her scruffy appearance and lack of pedigree. However, Jake saw something different. He saw a companion who could become extraordinary with love and care. This taught him that true worth often lies beneath the surface, and that every being, whether a pony or a person, has unique potential waiting to be discovered. It reminded him not to judge others by their appearances or past, but to look deeper and appreciate their abilities. As he trained Daisy day after day, Jake witnessed firsthand how patience and dedication can lead to growth. He had faced challenges in getting Daisy to eat properly, learning grooming techniques, and teaching her tricks. Each hurdle they overcame together reinforced his belief that progress takes time and effort. This realization extended beyond his relationship with Daisy. It seeped into his interactions with friends and family as well. He found himself more patient in schoolwork and more understanding of his friends' difficulties, learning that perseverance pays off in all areas of life. The bond between Jake and Daisy had grown stronger than he ever imagined possible. Their shared experiences, filled with laughter during training sessions and performances, became cherished memories that would last a lifetime. This connection highlighted another lesson: the power of friendship and teamwork. Together, they showcased how supporting one another can lead to success. Whether it was performing at community events or simply enjoying each other's company during quiet moments in the yard. As Jake watched children gather around Daisy excitedly during their practice sessions, he felt pride swell in his heart again. Seeing how much joy Daisy brought to the community reminded him that every being has the potential to inspire others. The way children laughed and cheered for Daisy's tricks exemplified how belief can create ripples of happiness throughout a community. One afternoon, as Jake prepared for another training session with Daisy, he decided to invite everyone from the neighborhood to join them for an open practice day. "Come see what Daisy can do," he called out excitedly as kids rushed over with wide eyes filled with anticipation. They gathered around eagerly as Jake demonstrated everything from basic commands to playful tricks. Watching them cheer for Daisy made him realize how important it was for him not only to believe in her, but also to share that belief with others. Encouraging his friends to join in helped them connect more deeply, not just with Daisy, but also with each other. Jake also understood now that belief is contagious, as he showed others what they could achieve by caring for something once thought unworthy. They too began mirroring that belief back towards themselves. Hands-on experiences turned into friendships, born from common values. A powerful reminder that lifting one another up leads everyone toward greater heights. As autumn approached and leaves began changing colors around town, Jake continued nurturing this special bond alongside Daisy. One built upon unwavering faith, strengthened through shared victories achieved together. Whenever doubts emerged or challenges arose amidst their journey ahead, they reminded each other just how far they've come since day one. Reflecting on these moments brought home an important truth. Believing in oneself opens doors previously thought closed, while nurturing connections formed through compassion brings forth boundless futures filled with endless opportunities waiting patiently beyond horizons yet unseen. Jake couldn't help but smile as he envisioned all that lay ahead for both himself and his beloved pony. A world bursting at the seams, eager for exploration, fueled by love, blossoming amid newfound friendships, ignited along this unforgettable adventure. As the last rays of summer light faded into the cool colors of autumn, Jake sat quietly in his backyard next to Daisy, reflecting on their incredible journey together. What had begun as a simple bid of $5 for a pony that everyone else dismissed as worthless had turned into a transformative adventure. Not just for him, but for everyone around them. The experiences he shared with Daisy had reshaped not only his perspective, but also how the community viewed animals and things that might seem overlooked. Jake watched as children played happily nearby, their laughter ringing out as they practiced the tricks they had learned from him and Daisy. In that moment, he felt a profound sense of pride, not only in their accomplishments, but also in the bond they had forged with one another. A connection that blossomed from belief and love, instead of judgment and doubt. Through this experience, Jake understood that true potential often lies beneath the surface, hidden from those who only glance without seeing. Daisy's earlier scruffy appearance no longer defined her. Instead, her vibrant personality and remarkable skills had captivated hearts throughout the neighborhood. Those who once mocked him were now cheering at the very events they had once laughed about. This evolution was nothing short of magical, a testament to the idea that every individual deserves a chance to shine, regardless of their past or how others perceive them. The lessons Jake learned during his time with Daisy were not limited merely to training and showcasing talents. They reached far deeper into the fabric of life itself. Believing in oneself became an invaluable lesson for him. He realized that self-confidence is essential when facing challenges, whether it's training a pony or navigating friendships at school. Jake felt empowered, knowing he could trust his instincts and pursue his dreams despite any discouragement from outside forces. Moreover, valuing what others deem worthless transformed his outlook on life. He discovered that every creature, like Daisy, has unique qualities waiting to be revealed with care and understanding. This realization extended beyond animals. It influenced how he interacted with his peers and family. He became more compassionate towards those who struggled or faced ridicule, striving to see beyond appearances and embrace their individual potentials. As autumn leaves fell gently to the ground, Jake organized a final gathering for Daisy before school resumed. A celebration of their journey filled with fun activities where friends could share what they had learned together over the summer. "Let's have one last show," he proposed excitedly to his friends during lunch at school one day. They quickly rallied around him with ideas about games, decorations, and performances showcasing all that Daisy could do. On the day of the celebration, families gathered once more in Jake's backyard, filled with laughter and anticipation. Children played games inspired by Daisy's tricks, while parents relaxed under colorful banners gently fluttering in the breeze above them, the atmosphere brimming with joy. Jake opened up the show by thanking everyone for believing in them through this incredible journey. "Thank you for supporting us. Here's my pony, Daisy." Cheers erupted as Daisy pranced forward, adorably dressed in colorful ribbons tied lovingly around her mane. The event featured performances where children took turns showcasing tricks they learned alongside Jake during practice days over summer break. The excitement echoed all around. Each act was met with enthusiastic applause, while parents captured memories through photos, their smiles reflecting newfound pride in this once overlooked pony. As evening fell and fairy lights began to twinkle overhead, Jake looked around at all the happy faces. Families enjoying moments together, bonded by laughter, and realized just how far community spirit had come since day one. No longer were they simply neighbors. They formed friendships tied together by joint experiences, filled with adventure, fueled by belief. Standing beside Daisy, as she nuzzled affectionately against him, made everything feel complete, as if full circles connected back to original dreams, envisioned long ago when first bidding at that auction. It affirmed what he had learned. Always look beyond appearances, because sometimes hidden treasures bring forth unexpected joy. Before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe to never miss a new video. And tell me, where are you watching this video from? I love seeing all different people come together for these stories. In closing his heartwarming gathering, amid warmth radiating throughout shared stories, exchanged among all present helpers, celebrating lifelong connections formed through compassion exhibited, Jake wrapped it all up beautifully. Remember, we can transform things once thought useless when we believe deeply enough. The journey promises new adventures ahead, even if paths remain unclear. As laughter blended harmoniously throughout joyful exchanges shared under starry skies above, it became clear Jake's adventure changed not just his life, but also shaped how others perceived useless things. Sparking an inspiring reminder, waiting patiently, opened wide hearts, eager for exploring possibilities, yet unseen just beyond horizon lines ahead.